4 hugs a day. That's the minimum. 4 hugs a day, not the maximum. I came up with a new business idea. This would make me an entrepreneur, and I think it would make me super successful. But I'm gonna run it past you guys and see what you think of it first. It is a hug delivery service. You know how people send flowers and chocolates and edible arrangements and all sorts of things through the mail to let their loved ones know that they're loved? Well, this would be sending a hug through the mail. Okay, well, hear me out. This is how it happened. I met this guy, and I didn't really know him all that well, but he texted me and said that he could really use a hug. So I texted him back and said, do you want me to drive over and give you one? Of course, he didn't really take me seriously because what kind of person would drive to a stranger's house just to give them a hug? This person right here, that's who'd do it. I think most of us know how horrible it feels when you need a hug and you can't get one. Granted, it may have been a tiny bit awkward, but I think it went over pretty well. And then Saturday, something happened when I went out, and the next day I told my sister that I could really use a hug, and she said, do you want me to drive to your house to give you one? And I thought, this is an ingenious idea. What if there was a hug delivery service and somebody needed a hug? You could send them one and it would be amazing. You could add a card to it or a poem or a little dance, but essentially you would be sending them a hug. You could even go on the website and pick who you wanted to deliver the hug. Of course, I do realize the dangers of this. You cannot have fine young women going to doors and knocking on them and just delivering hugs because there's some creepy people out there. That's why our employees would travel in pairs. There would be one person waiting in the car and one person delivering the hug. And if anything goes awry, the person in the car will report it. Regardless, I think I'm onto something. This might not be super duper successful, but it might be a kitschy little thing that catches on. I think of all those people that are away from their loved ones, or they have people who are lonely and need a hug. You could even order yourself a hug. No one needs to know. Here's the thing. I don't want to brag or anything, but I'm a really good hugger. Not only do I have the squishy parts that make it necessary to have a comfortable hug, but I also have the strong arms, because you need a nice firm grip, and I don't pat. There's none of that patting, and I don't really rub either. There's none of that rubbing. It's just a nice, firm hug, and I hold on until the other person lets go. The truth is, when I was in high school, I was actually known for giving hugs. People would seek me out to get one. Of course, in the beginning I would only have 1 or 2 employees driving around delivering these hugs, but eventually, over time, my business would grow, and then I'd open up a branch in Toronto, and New York, and LA, and eventually, it would be like world domination through Huggery, and it will be awesome. So I'm turning to you guys for help. What are some possible flaws that you may see in this business venture? I'm thinking if the person receiving the hug doesn't really like to be touched, that might be a problem. Or creepy serial killer type people ordering hugs for themselves only to kill them. This might be a little bit of a hippie free love sort of business venture, but I think the world might need more things like this. And the best part is that really there's not all that much I'm gonna need to start my business. I have a car, I can create a website, I can take an ad out in the paper. And also I was thinking about names. I mean, I could go with Hugs R Us, but that's kind of boring. The Hug Emporium, that's kind of cute. The Hug Bug, and then I could drive around town in a little Volkswagen Beetle. And now my brain is moving so fast that I'm thinking about slogans and logos and all that other interesting crap. And now, of course, since I've put this out into the world, I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna come along and take my idea and make millions for themselves. And you're welcome, whoever that person is. And that is it for this week. The Huggery will end here, and I hope to see you all again next week for another edition of That Girl Tyson.
General quarters, all hands man your battle stations, all hands man your battle stations.
Of course I did